morning, everyone, and welcome back to Musical Moments. It's so good to be back on the air. It's been between COVID and a crazy last week here in Houston, all of Texas, with unseasonably cold. We were basically shut down. We had no power last week, so we apologize for that, but glad to be back here. This week and next week, we're celebrating Black History Month. A little shorter because of the freeze, but I'm happy to say I have a very special friend of mine today who is going to come on a little later and grace us with her beautiful vocals, Miss Kim Prevost, who actually lives right here in Katy, and many of you have seen her on the air for some of our pre-record services. And her and her husband Bill are good friends of ours, and I thought it would be nice to celebrate the month this month with some special songs for the time, and also get to know Kim a little bit. In between, we'll just talk to her a little bit. So let's get you back in right now. See a lot of people here on. Margaret Prouts, a lot of people from back east. Cecilia Nicholson, great to have you. Agnes Kai, all from Saints Memorial. And hello, Mother, and my sister are listening as well. Welcome, Sharon Gursky. My mother-in-law is listening. Hello, Winona, nice to see you. And we have some people here. Cherie listening from Oregon. It's great to have you in Salem, Oregon. So we're going to jump right in here, get some music going. Again, today we're going to the theme is spirituals and songs of freedom, just as we celebrate, especially at this time, what we have, just what the spirituals brought to our culture and to an oppressed people at the time. It was really a catharsis for them to express, and we're so grateful for the contribution of African Americans in here. So we're going to jump into some special songs here. I think we have, actually my mother asked for one. She wanted to hear Ride On King Jesus. Let's, please, if this is your first time listening, take a minute and share this with a friend. It takes you about 5 seconds, just somebody who might want to listen to it. And feel free to ask for a song if I know it. We'll see what comes out. Great song, Ride On King Jesus. In fact, we will be doing that coming up for our cantata coming up the end of next month. We're doing another virtual cantata. You want to check it out. We had a great Christmas one, and this one's going to be just as good, so we'll keep you posted on that. So right now I'm looking at a lot of the people here. I'm looking at not a whole lot of requests today, so I'll just keep moving. Hello, Stephanie, how are you from Maryland? Nice to see you again. And Agnes Kai, she's always got a good one. This is a great song for Black History Month. It's called Swing Low. nice medley of every time, and thank you, Agnes, for that call. Hello, Amy Dopgar, checking in. So good to see you and everybody back. Say it again? Okay. Let's do another, we got a little bit, as I mentioned earlier, we have a special guest coming on in just a few minutes, Miss Kim Prevost, awesome vocalist and an awesome person. So we're going to get to know her a little bit in song and just a little bit about her story. In the meantime, let's do another one. We're going to do another little medley for you and for this Black History Month. Go Down Moses and Elijah Rock. Good ones, yep. A lot of these songs are in minor modes. If you notice, it's really brings out the powerful of the words. If you know the words, I'm not going to sing today, but that's why Kim's here. But but the words are just so powerful, and the melodies. Hello, Cherie. Nice to see you today. And Anique Jackson, Pastor Jem Manuel's lovely wife, Anique is listening. Thank you, Anique. Britt Larson, a couple more hellos here. And my lovely wife is listening. And there's another person right above there that I just wanted to say a special thanks to. Going back here. Sorry. Yvonne Bob. Yeah, thank you. I had a nice talk with her this week. It's so great with the internet how you can, and FaceTime, you just kind of reconnect with several different parts of your life in the church. I think we have, okay. I think we have time for one more nice medley before we bring up Miss Kim Prevost. So let's, I'll bring it down a little bit. We're going to do a couple ballads for you. This is called Precious Lord, another favorite one, and Oh Freedom. Okay. All right, well, it's time for our very special guest today. As you know, for the past year, we've been doing composers, so I thought we're going to year 2 now of the show. We would bring some special guests on, and what better for us to start is a good friend of mine, Miss Kim Prevost, who lives right here in Katy from New Orleans, and she's got quite a story to tell. That's all I'm going to say for now, but Kim, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you, Barry, for having me.
A pleasure, a pleasure.
I love hearing your music.
Well,
outstanding.
Thank you. So we're going to do a little singing and a little talking. So what would you like to start out with?
Well, a lot of people have seen me here at the church singing, but
on the pre-records,
like you said, they don't know my backstory.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought we might give them the real Kim.
Okay, let's do it.
Story,
yeah.
Right? And some of the songs I used to sing with my dad, back in the day when I was 4 or 5 years old.
Your dad was a preacher, right?
My dad was a preacher.
Yeah, okay.
For a long time. A really great preacher. And he had such charisma and such in the word with him. And so one of the songs that we used to always start with was Walk With Me.
Okay.
Walk with me, Lord, walk with me. Walk with me, Lord, walk with me. On this journey. Walk with me, Lord, walk with me. Well, take my hand, Lord, take my hand. Take my hand, Lord, take my hand. Oh Lord, take my hand, Lord, and walk with me. Now, another song that we used to do with my dad, we would go right into, I got saved at 10 years old. And, thank you, God. And I had what we call a sweet lady, but she was really my godmother. So when I decided, my dad was right here. Well, not my dad, but the other preacher was right there. And when I went up at 10 years old, all my family looked, and I had my sweet lady. She came up, and she sat beside me, and she's like, you accept Christ as your Savior today? I said, yes, I do. And I was 10 years old, and I knew. So from that point, when I was baptized, they brought me up, and I was heading up those stairs. Didn't have no second thoughts, though. I knew he was my Savior. I was like, just let me go down in this water and receive you, God.
Amen.
At 10 years old. And we would always sing this song because my dad, baptized me. And it was Wade in the Water. Wade in the water, way in the water, children, away in the water. God's gonna trouble the water, way in the water. Oh, way in the water, children, away in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Well, wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Well, God's gonna trouble the water. Well, God gonna trouble the water.
Kim, you sound great, Kim. What a
Thank you.
voice, yes.
You sound amazing.
Well, thank you, thank
You
you.
make a great team.
As I'll tell some of the people out there, we met kind of after I was about 6 months down here. I saw you downtown with some other musicians. Daryl Levine, I think, was playing with you at the time down there.
It was a jazz crew.
It was a jazz crew. So anyhow, I wanted to let some people know they've heard you sing before. Let's talk just a few questions so people can get to know, because you do have a story. We know that.
Let me tell y'all, I have stories on stories on stories. So get ready.
So the first question I had was just talk a little bit. I know you said you were a preacher's kid. What was it like growing up in New Orleans in the church and with your father was a singer, I think you told me.
Both my father and my mother were singers, and they were very immersed in the church. But the choir and singing was always present in our home, always present with us, and it was always present with them. I mean, that was
great.
Most of my early childhood to my late childhood. It was about being in the church every Sunday. You know, PK kids. You know, we're quite a handful.
Yeah, my mother was a choir director, so we kind of lived in church. I remember it was a Methodist church, but I remember we just hung out. You know, it was just.
It was like
home.
it was
second
really
home.
like
Yeah.
a second home, family. I mean, you know, because you know, in the Baptist church, people know how to cook.
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
were like after the choir rehearsals, after like the singing, it's like, okay, yeah, where that chicken at? You know, where that macaroni cheese at?
Yeah.
So
now, when you got into jazz, I did a little stalking on you, and found out your uncles played in a jazz organ trio, and I guess that was your start into jazz music, or?
it was part of the. It was actually, my uncles were very much of influence of the art of the music of jazz, because, as you know, as the church was my second home.
Yeah.
My first home was like going hanging out on Sundays, having the Sunday dinners, or hanging out on the weekend with my family.
Okay.
So we would go from my house, everybody, we're talking about 30 to 20 people plus, going over to have Sunday dinner, or during the week, you know, Saturdays, or Sundays. And then my uncles would always have jazz music present.
Wow.
And no matter if I wanted to listen to it at 10 years old or 5 years old, it was always there.
It was there,
So
yeah.
I just heard it all the time. Little did I know that it was going to be that much of an influence as far as my learning intonation, learning pitch, learning and improvisation, which was a huge influence in listening to that music as a kid.
And of course, having the church influence, there's a feel that just you can't buy it. It's just it's part
there.
of the soul. Yeah.
I mean, there was no choice. I listened to jazz and I listened to church. It was like, okay, here she is, voila.
Interesting. And
Come on.
so another question for you. What brought you from to Houston from New Orleans? There's a little story there, I think.
Wow, that was a, let's just say that story got me through this last week.
Okay.
So, my husband and I, my whole family, came from New Orleans due to the Hurricane Katrina.
I see. Yeah, that was a rough one.
And
yeah.
that was a rough one, but you know, God got us through that just as He will through everything else.
Yeah, amen.
And from that, it was a blessing because we were able to meet a lot of the Houston musicians here. I mean, we had like 4 to 6 feet in our house flooding. Then my mother had like 12 feet up to the ceiling of just water.
Oh my gosh, wow.
So
she got out okay.
As many of the stories you've probably heard about
Yeah.
Hurricane Katrina, it happened to us as well. So we were here, and we had family here, my cousins. Actually, my uncle Preston, I'll mention his name.
Yeah.
He passed away not too long ago. But he, basically his family was here.
Okay.
And from that, they took us in, their church took us in.
Wow.
And we were able to rebuild and regroup here. We still go back to New Orleans.
Yeah.
And visit and work, but yeah, that's how it is.
Okay, now I got a couple more questions for you. Now, your husband, you talk about Bill. Bill is another good friend, a great guitar player.
Oh,
He's been here.
comes the husband.
How did you guys meet? Because there's a little bit of story in there.
Oh,
you know.
that's a great story. And I love to tell it because my husband, Bill Solly, as you all know, are wonderful, wonderful guitarist. And him and I were working in this band, to make it short story.
Okay.
A long story short. We were working in a band. I was the singer, dancer. He was the guitar player.
Okay.
And so from that, we would have rehearsals every night.
This was in New Orleans, right?
This was in New Orleans, yeah. We were
okay.
still rocking and rolling. Bill was like in the fold of the jazz scene.
Okay.
I was very green and like just getting myself into this.
Mm-hmm.
But during the sets of the rehearsals, he would come and sit next to me and basically kind of like liked me, but he enjoyed my singing. So we had this duo that formed from there. And then he asked me out to McDonald's for a cheeseburger.
It was like a musical friendship first.
It was a musical friendship because he asked me out to McDonald's for a cheeseburger. Luckily, I was a very, understanding person. I'm like, what? No, Ritz-Carlton?
Yeah, exactly.
Because,
Well,
I'm a round-the-way girl. I'm like, I'm cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from that point on, we were married. Here we are, like 25 years later.
Wow, that's great. And and you have a beautiful family.
We have a beautiful family. We have our daughter, and don't say mine, I said me and Bill, we have Miss Sophia, and then we have our other daughter, Rachel, and Rachel is about to have our second grandchild.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Okay.
This is so awesome. God is good.
Amen. Now, you also did I did a little more looking, and I saw that you dabbled in some gospel jazz CDs back in years ago. So that was a great CD. So you've done like the whole gamut of music, which is something I really enjoy. You can hear it in your voice and all the different influences.
Oh, thank you, Barry.
But that was something. Was that one of your first recordings, or did you?
It wasn't one of my first recordings with Bill. We had a couple of jazz albums from before.
Okay.
But my gospel roots coming, I needed to do this. But basically, make a long story short, we were singing in this little club, hotel in New Orleans, doing our jazz thing, me and Bill.
Mm-hmm.
And a wonderful, wonderful person, Mr. Brad Keeney, heard us inside of performing. And he's like, I heard your voice, and he had a couple of songs he wanted me to sing.
Okay.
And he's like, you have to sing these songs. And I would love for Bill to produce it and put the guitar. And we're like, okay, well, yeah, that would be great. And the longer we talk, he was a PK kid, I was a PK kid.
Oh, okay.
And it was like the night was like jazz, PK kids, and a gospel album, like a year later.
Awesome. So now here's a little bit of, not to do some name dropping, but you kind of had a connection. I hear first of all, It's a secret, no secret. You're a great cook. All
Oh
right?
yeah.
I've
Well, you can't come from New Orleans and not cook, honey.
yeah, and some of the. Tell us about you worked with Emeril Lagasse.
Yes. An interesting story about that. Emeril, who's the nicest person on earth, I have to say. We performed in his restaurant, Emeril Restaurant, and also we knew some mutual people. He was the executive chef at that time when I was working as a model.
This was before his show then,
That
right?
was before, way before like his show, and when he became like bam, bam, bam kind of person. You know? This was, he was the executive chef at Commander's Palace, and I was modeling, doing some informal modeling. So he would feed some of the models afterwards. Some of the other models, they were like, no. I said, bring it on, bring the food on. I'll take it, yes. And so that's my first encounter with him. And then later on, me and Bill, he has a couple of private parties in New Orleans, and they had it at his restaurant, and we sang there. But yeah, awesome. From that, but my real experiences I learned from my grandmother and my mama how to cook, because I love to entertain.
Yes.
And me and my husband, we have annual crawfish boils, and I cook gumbo, ribs, rice. I cook everything under the sun, honey.
Yeah, I had a chance to eat some of it. And
I know you did.
I'm a witness. So I want to get back and play a little bit more with you.
Sure.
Before we do that, do you have any? I think you have a couple of performances people can hear, and Katie can co-hear you at.
Yes, actually, they can hear us together. If you like the sounds of me and Barry, we're performing. And Bill is on that one too. Here in Katy, they can go to Katy Vibes. Which is right off the I-10, and hear us with an awesome drummer, Neil Goetz. Just after church, come on over. It's going to be a party. And then you get to hear me sing a lot of tunes with Barry and the group. And then Bill and I are also here in Katy at Pane e Vino every Friday. From 6 to 9.
Like a French restaurant? Or
it's an Italian restaurant, and they have great food, good vibe. They're practicing all the social distancing and COVID requirements. And yeah, it's a good time. It's just, and now we're adding Carrie, Carrie Denigris is going to be. So it's 2 guitar players. I have to handle 2 guitar players now.
I think you can handle it.
Well, you know. And so it's 2 guitar players and myself. It's a good time.
Okay, great. So let's do another little medley. What do you have in mind?
Well, you know, it is Black History Month.
Yes.
And I am black.
Yes.
So that's one. Number 2, it's a great celebration this month. One of my favorite artists growing up and I listened to, which gave me inspiration, was Bob Marley. One song called Redemption Song. All pirates, yes, they rob I. So I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit. But my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? Is all I ever had. Redemption song, redemption song. Now, Barry, you know, there's another artist, you know, Black History Month. He was very, very, very influenced. I heard about him, like, when I was growing up. I'm going to show my age right now, but, you know, I was a part of the 70s crew. In the 70s, there was artist Curtis Mayfield. And he made this song pretty popular, and it's quite a song that's in the Black History Month celebration. People get ready, there's a train a-coming. Don't need no baggage, get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. Don't need no ticket, just thank the Lord. People, get ready, there's a train to Jordan. Picking up passengers coast to coast. Faith is the key, the doors for them. There's hope for us all, for those who love the most. Oh, people, get ready, there's a train a-coming. Don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. Don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord.
Beautiful.
Lord.
Beautiful, Kim.
Thank you, Gary.
I know this is not the last time we're going to be playing together, but we'll see each other in a couple weeks. But I want to thank you for being our first guest on here today, and we will definitely get back. It's right now. It's about 10 of 12, so I'm going to do a few more requests. So Kim, I'll talk to you in a little bit.
All right, thanks, Barry.
Thanks so much for coming. I'm going to say hello to a couple more folks here in the house. Bill, your husband, Bill Solly, is watching. He says you all sound great, so there you go. Hello, Kim. Also, Kim Churchill in the house. Nice to see you. We also have Sharon Gursky, which I had mentioned, and I think pretty much here. Elvira is a new one for me. Hello, Elvira. So we have time for a few more requests today. If you want to throw one up on Facebook, I'll see if I can get it on. In the meantime, I'm going to do another one in our kind of spiritual freedom song. This is called "Soon I Will Be Done in the Troubles of This World." Another great one. That's one of my favorites, Just a Closer Walk with Thee. And it's funny, it's such a timeless song, and it's been done so many ways. And so we're just about out of time, guys. I'm looking at, it's a couple minutes before 12, and I wanted to let you know, next week we will have another special guest. This is a gentleman who's also been on our pre-record. His name is Mr. Stefan Smith. He's from New York. And it's funny, there's always a story how we meet, but I met through a theater company down here, but it turns out he is a gospel singer. I had the privilege of going to play at his Baptist church in Missouri City and playing with his really serious gospel choir down there. I mean, they were bringing it, and we've done a couple things together, so he's agreed to come out next week, and he's, just like him, has quite a story, how he got here and where he's been. So we were gonna bring him on next week, Mr. Stefan Smith. And that will be our two guests for Black History Month. And I have some great guests lined up next month. Some from down south of the border. Some people, a good gentleman, Ernesto Vega from Cuba. And also a violinist who you've seen many times here, Mr. Eddie Marcano from Venezuela. You see him many times during the week. He'll be coming in and telling his story and playing with me a little bit. So looking forward to this next month. So once again, we want to thank all of you for listening. Jason, as another one we have on there, and Martha Grant is listening. Welcome back, Martha. That is one of my earliest church memories from Salem United Methodist Church, way back in the day. So thank you, Martha, for listening. So we'll, until next week, be safe. And, I know many of us are getting vaccinated and starting to get out more. We're hoping and praying this is the turning corner on this, and that we'll get back to normal soon. So until next week, God bless and have a great week.